I've received many emails and letters from constituents over the last sort of 7 or 8 months about the guidelines for the inclusion of transgender and gender diverse people in sport, the document that the AHRC put together with Sports Australia last year. I believe it was released in June 2019. One of the most common concerns in the correspondence I've received is from parents who are concerned that women and girls may be forced to compete against biological males in sport who have an obvious competitive advantage in terms of speed and strength as a result of these guidelines.
We had broad consultations across the board, including women's groups, including athletes, including trans community, but also sporting organisations. And we did hear that concern during the course of the work. The guidelines are really to give guidance to sporting organisations on how to navigate to ensure they were not unlawfully discriminating in how they were running their operations.
Would you agree that the division of sex in sporting competitions, that is having competitions and teams that are specifically for women and girls, is a pretty logical and necessary practice in sport, and it's not about exclusion, it's just designed to make sure that women are competing against other women rather than men when they're playing sport and they feel safe in that environment?
So historically, absolutely, most sports have a division based on binary gender, women and men. But we are in a world where there is a new conversation and a situation to understand how to include people more broadly. I absolutely support that our sporting organisations do a fantastic job of creating opportunities for men and women to participate in sport.
Is Sports Australia aware of the comments that Tamsin Lewis, a former Olympian, made earlier this week?
I'm not aware of the exact comments. I did see this morning the headline, but I didn't get to read the article.
I would like to table, if I may, Chair, an excerpt from an article. There are a lot of people who are scared to come out and say anything because of political correctness about the issue of transgender athletes competing in women's sport. Lewis explained, if you've grown up a male and had testosterone, your bone structure is different to the female, your upper body strength is going to remain, you've got greater lung capacity, a larger heart size. There's too many unknowns about how much going through puberty and being born a male is going to affect your result. Is Sports Australia concerned that Australian female athletes will be disadvantaged at international competitions if they're required to compete against transgender people who are biologically male?
I'm not aware of many of the specifics, as I mentioned, but I do know that the organisation has spent a lot of time on the transgender guidelines. We've consulted with the industry. We've sought opinions, and we continue to be at the forefront of trying to create those those policies going forward.
Are you concerned that athletes might feel that they are disadvantaged, that female athletes may feel that they're disadvantaged as the peak body for sports in this country?
Yeah, as Sport Australia, we're creating the guidelines to make sure that we meet the circumstances. I'm not sure it's.
Can I take that you are not concerned then?
No, you can't. We're working on the issue. It's a major issue for us as an organisation, and we're consulting with everybody to try and come up with the right policies, and it's an ongoing matter.
Does Sports Australia agree that the basis of women's sport is to provide sporting competition and activity for people who are biologically female?
I'm not specifically aware of what our policy is on that. I'll have to take that under notice.
Sorry, you're not aware of what your policy is, even though you are the peak body for sports in Australia?
Yeah, I'm personally not aware of it that I can give to you, but I'll take it on notice and
that would be great if you could take it on notice. I've received many emails and letters from constituents in regards to the guidelines that you released last year, and one of the most common concerns is from parents who fear that their children, their daughters, might be forced to compete against biological males who have an obvious competitive advantage in terms of speed and strength. Do you understand why that is a concern for parents?
You know, as I said, Senator, this is a global issue that I think there are many groups, including ours, Sport Australia, are working on. You know, I don't think there's an absolute answer to this, and we continue to work on it, continue to consult in the industry, and you know, we're dealing with it as an organisation the best we can.
Do you think young girls might be deterred from playing sport if there are children of the male sex competing in their competition?
I don't have an opinion on that.
You are the peak body for
I'll
sports
take
in
it
this
on
country.
notice what the policy of the organisation is.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Has Sports Australia received any complaints about these guidelines since they were issued?
I'm not aware of any myself, but I'll take it on notice to determine if there are any.
That would be fantastic. I think particularly given the volume of correspondence that I've received, and I'm sure other senators around this table has received, this is an issue of ongoing for concern for parents that girls are not going to feel comfortable playing in sporting competitions against people who might be of the opposite sex. And I do find it a little concerning coming here today that I haven't necessarily been able to get a clear position from Sports Australia on these issues.